It's already six waiting. Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, we'll see what happens. I'll leave you to it. Good luck, Troy.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. Some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 Series. I'm John Van Ree. This is the great circuit, of course, known as Virginia Virginia International Raceway, sorry. It starts on the start-finish straight, heads down into turns 1, the horseshoe, and then comes back around and comes in through turn 3, NASCAR bend, into the left hook, and then through the tight, tricky snake complex through turns 5 and 6, where we then accelerate up the hill into towards the southern bend. Very exciting part of the track, 3, 7, 8, 9, very fast flowing. And then we go past the clubhouse and then into the southern bend, down the hill and up the hill into 11, 12, double apex complex. Used to be the famous oak tree there. And it is, of course, a very, very famous tree in itself. And then we have the long Madison Avenue back straight, where we head up the hill into the roller coaster at turns 14, 14A, and then we sweep down through 15 over the little crest at 16, sweep down again into 17, 17A through the hog pen back onto the straightaway and get ourselves going again. So it is a tough little circuit that we race at here at Virginia. These boys here will be definitely all pushing the boundaries to see how they can go. A very small field this evening, unfortunately. I was expecting we'd be down on numbers a little bit after the massive Bathurst campaign that a lot of these pro guys in our series had over the last 2 weeks. And we were pretty much right in saying that. So it's going to be definitely open slather this evening for a few of these lads. So looking forward to seeing how they all run when we get into qualifying in about a minute's time or 2 minutes' time. Looking forward to seeing how the likes of Anthony Visma are going to go on their own. Rattray White and Seth Brown are also in the server from Vermilion Motorsports. And Troy Stone Street is another name to keep an eye on. Aidan Cale's back in the series. So it'll be a small field, and will definitely be interesting to see how these guys go without the hard-charging James Scott leading the pack around the field. So qualifying about to start any second now with this small number, which we not ideal, but we're going to go ahead and make sure that we give everybody some good coverage that they deserve as first cars rolling out on track now. And we have the one and only Zach Rattray White. And of course, Zach started towards the back of the Bathurst race, worked his way forward relatively well. And a few of the others out there, Anthony Visma, Damien Cairns tucked in behind. Keep a close eye on the Viz this evening. Expect him to be one of our front runners as we start to get ourselves organised here. And of course, the world famous slow outlap. One of my pet hates of these cars. You know, as the boys start rolling out, we've got Michael Stewart and the Balin Stewart Hypersonic Racing entry. So expecting Stewie to do wonderful things here as well. One of our regular vets drivers has an absolute cracking way how he approaches life and does the same when he gets behind the wheel of a car, which is great to see. Ashton Kadich, our regular XL driver. Be interested to see if he's on the cards at Winton next weekend for the Australian round that's being held down there. Of course, very, very hotly contested class is the XLs. A very interesting car around Winton as well. I think Winton's a track that suits them very well. So these boys running down the Madison Avenue, heading into the roller coaster. So they're about to start a lap. Aidan Cale, I think Seth Brown might be the lead car coming through. He might jump on board. Ride a lap. If the one and only is Zach Rattray White. Of course, those times are just outlaps because they pitted behind the line. We might. And Mark's along with us as well. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, good, John. Just loading in now. Sorry, I'm a bit late. Big day at work. Good to be here, and I had some great racing here in the vets on Thursday night. So looking forward to seeing how the boys run this one tonight.
We've got a small field, missing quite a few of the pro drivers. So I half expected with them all being burnt out from Bathurst on the weekend.
Yeah, I was about to say that was a great race as well, and not surprised we've got a small field tonight because it would have been a big day for a lot of them boys.
Yes, very interesting race it was at the old Bathurst. The definitely the big names didn't rise to the top. So it's still a few good guys in the front, Griffin Gardner, and of course the Luke Rosella having a great drive for the Lobs boys. But the usual big names weren't there on the podium, which was interesting to see. And of course, Dylan Rudd's all but wrapped that series up. I think he's just got to finish in the top 10 for the last two rounds. We're just riding on board here with a lap with Zach Rattray White as he crosses the line and SDK decides to play up. I'll just try a quick trick here. Not having much luck tonight. So that was was slower. Stone Street's actually the man on pole at the moment. So it's going to be definitely interesting to see how these lads all evolve. So I'll just try and kick this in the tail again. And that'll load in a second. So these boys on their lap back in at the moment. So let them get themselves sorted. So at the moment, we've got Stone Street ahead of Cairns, ahead of Visma, ahead of Rattray White, Stewart, Seth Brown, Anthony Cuthbertson. A little bit surprised that the Viz has not gone quicker than Damien Cairns. More highly fancied Accelerate Sim Racing entry. And Michael Stewart sitting in 5th. And we have 2 Super 2 drivers leading out the field at the moment. It's great to see. It's going to make it very interesting. Get this going. Oh, come on, SDK.
Yeah, I guess the thing about this track, John, is it's so easy to pick up an off track, and boys probably just been a little bit cautious getting that banker in, and we might see some times juggle around on this second run.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what a few of these blokes can do. Still got to get a time out of McCune. Still got to get a time out of Aidan Cale. We've seen the pace Aidan Cale had developed over the last couple of seasons with the series. Now part of, entrenched in the Vermilion Motorsport team.
Yeah, not sure what's going on with them boys. I'm seeing them with checkered flags on their names in my entry list, so I don't know if they've left the server or what.
Not sure what the go is with them two.
Zach Rattray White just come out to start his outlap.
Yep. There's jump on board.
Seth Brown out there as well. I thought Seth actually drove a really, really good race last week, and I think he's one to watch for the future.
Definitely keep an eye on him. Did drive quite well, I thought, at Bathurst when he was out on track. I'm having a shocker here. So Stone Street still not out on track. He's got himself only a small amount. He's only 2/10 up. That's not a huge lead. Rattray White will be the man to watch.
Yeah, definitely think Rattray White, Seth Brown could upset the apple cart here. I'd be surprised if they don't get a bit closer than what they are. Not sure if any of the boys picked up a tow or anything on that first lap out, but I still think we're going to see a few changes before this one's run and done.
And of course, don't forget, sprint race for the first one, 15 laps, 28 laps for the second race with a full reverse grid. So not the easiest track in the world to overtake on as well. Make it rather challenging for a few of these boys. As Rattray White heads around again. So already at the 9-minute mark. So with the lap times around this place, he may not get another shot at this. Coming up past the clubhouse. Very composed. Car's quite well balanced. Into the former oak tree. Heading down the back straightaway now. Gets a clean exit. Down through the hog pen and on to the start finish straightaway. Comes across the line. Then improves to top of the charts with SDK saying no, but he does a 1:45.47. That is a great time from Zach. That puts him in front of Stone Street.
We know what a quality driver Zach is, so it just emphasises what a great lap Troy Stone Street put in to be only sitting a tenth behind Zach at the moment.
And I'll get that up shortly. Try and get a plan B for that.
Visma doesn't complete his lap, straight back into the box. He must have picked up an off track possibly. We've got 8 minutes to run, so Visma will get another one in.
Everyone running back in. Seth Brown now on an out lap. So let's just see what Seth can do. See if he can push himself forward on the chart. He's pulled up and stopped. And now he's on an out lap. So, of course, he'll need to hurry to get himself around. 12 minutes, 36 seconds is where we're at the moment with the timer. It's going to do something while this tries to settle itself down. Why hasn't that popped up? It's SD. Didn't work for me either. No worries. Keep an eye on Seth Brown here as I'll try and get this bloody overlays working again.
Damien Cairns just completed another lap but did not improve. Did a 1:46.009, so he set a 1:45.753 earlier, so that's still his prime time.
Oi, big incident there for Rattray White. That will be him in all sorts of issues there, I believe. It's a Brown. Yeah, I was just thinking that it's going to go.
Motion control, I'm going to need a tow.
Yeah, requesting a tow. He's come up the hill. He's missed the corner and hit the barrier and bounced off. Definitely not in a good way there. Like SDK at the moment. Whereas Damien Cairns the only car on track at the moment. He's on a slow out lap through Oak Tree. Needs to get a time ticked over, so he needs to complete this lap. He's the only man on track. And that is the server clicked over, about to go into Heat 1. So, of course, heat racing tonight. So let's jump in, have a quick look at the grid to start off with. So Zach Rattray White will be on pole, of course, with the 145.473, followed by Troy Stone Street, sharing the front row with him with only 800ths of a second behind. So very, very tight at the front. Damien Cairns slots into P3 on the second row with Anthony Visma. It's the Accelerate Sim Sports second row. Michael Stewart from Balin Stewart Foundation Opsonic Racing sits in fifth, and he lines up looking at Seth Brown alongside him from Vermeulen Motorsport. And then after that, on the next row of the grid, we have Ashton Kadich sitting alongside Anthony Cuthbertson. And looking forward to seeing how those boys go. Aidan Cale, I'm not sure, and Scott McHugh, not sure if they're in the server or not. And our safety car tonight is Matty McMillan, and race control is Richie Barella, who did a sensational job in the Pro Series Bathurst on the weekend as the head steward, for those who didn't know. So all eyes are on the front of the field here. This will be interesting to see how these guys get going, and definitely looking forward to seeing what they can do in this start, as I think Rattray White is looking to get down the inside, hold that line, keep an eye out for Visma and Cairns. Expect Cairns, who's also on the inside, to try and hold out Stone Street if he doesn't get a good jump here. So definitely a lot to play for a few of these guys.
Yeah, quite often we see this turn one be very tricky for people, because people do tend to go a little bit deep in this one, but we're just about to jump.
Green.
And we're racing, we're away. Rattray White's a little bit slow off the line, but he's going to hold out Stone Street. Stone Street moves over a little bit to try and squeeze Cairns. As we come into the horseshoe for the first time, it's looking like they're all fairly well balanced. Stone Street gets himself through cleanly in second place. They all start to filter down a little bit. Seth Brown looking to make a move on. Michael Stewart gets that done, heading through NASCAR Bend. And now heading around the corner again. And they're all now nose to tail. I can see Seth Brown looking up the road. He has Visma, Cairns and Stone Street in front before his teammate.
Yeah, nice clean jump from everyone. Not even a hint of a lock-up anywhere in turns 1 or 2, which was great to see. And Zach Rattray White already stamping his authority on this race.
A little bit wide by Cairns there, but he tucks it back in. I think having your teammate behind you allows the opportunity to hold your position. But Cairns now all up on the back of Stone Street. Looks towards the inside, which quickly becomes the outside at the roller coaster. You've got to be careful he doesn't get hung out to dry.
Rattray White, too deep under brakes, ends up off track and loses at least one position, possibly two.
Big loss. Seth Brown getting past his... Well, he's touched! That was Cairns, I think. I'm just going to have a quick look at the replay there. I think that was Visma. Sorry.
Visma's luck continues.
Both of them off. And he's into the fence pretty hard as well. Keep an eye and see if that car comes back out to play. Long way off the circuit. Definitely getting himself rolling along. He's on the blower, so I'd expect he's called for a safety car.
Quite a fair bit of net code in that, but I'll leave that up to the stewards.
So that just changed the ball game. So we have Stone Street now leading Seth Brown from Cairns, then Stewart, Zach Rattray White down 4 spots from his pole position to 5th. Ashton Kadich in 6th, Anthony Cuthbertson 7th, and it looks like Anthony Visma has been given approval to tow back to the pits. So already 2 of this 15-lap sprint race in the bag. Heading down Madison Avenue. All field fair still a little bunched up as well, which is great to see.
Yeah, real shame for Anthony Visma there, but Robin's racing, as they say, and hopefully he can get out and make up for that in the feature race.
Yes, well, I can let you know already now, he will be starting on pole at this stage, unless one of the other two come back. So the WK&P Chubby Buns entry under pressure here from Seth Brown, who just set the fastest lap. But Stone Street in the thick of it here, goes a little bit wider. Still covers the line. Brown has a look on the inside at NASCAR. Ben gets a little bit loose. Manages to hang on, still side by side. Not a great part of the circuit to be side by side through here. Stone Street gets back in front. A little bit of action a bit further back. Rattray White making a move on Michael Stewart. Kadich getting involved in the action here as well. The XL racer will be used to this nose to tail racing. Hey, Stewie under a lot of pressure. Pressure everywhere.
Yeah, small field, and they're still pretty tightly bunched. Seth Brown looked like he was very desperate to get past Stone Street there, but Stone Street held his cool and held his nerve and did a great job to hold position.
Yeah, he's under a lot of pressure. Where's Brown now trying to have a look. Stone Street tries to cover the inside, which will then become the outside. He's going to let him through here. Oh, he's gone a bit deep. That's Brown.
I think there's a slight touch there with him and Stone Street. Looked like Stone Street just backed off to allow Seth to keep racing, which was great sportsmanship there from Troy.
Well, these boys all in the thick of it here. Great long line of cars here from Stone Street, Cairns, Rattray White, Stewart, Kadich in the thick of the action here. Look a bit further back. Cuthbertson's not too far behind. And Anthony Visma's got himself back out on track at the end of the train here, a lap down. They must have managed to drive back into the pit lane from where he hit the wall.
I think he towed, but he went a lap down, so I'm sure he'd love a safety car to get back around and back on the track and on terms with everybody else.
Right. Definitely some entertaining racing here. Cairns now under pressure from Rattray White. Also tucked up behind Stone Street. As they ride through the curbs, up the hill, past the clubhouse, into the southern bend. Into the dipper now, up into the oak tree. Big move from Cairns. Opens the door up. Rattray White pokes his nose in. Stone Street cops the old 2 for 1. And now Cairns sets his goals, looking forward up the road after Seth Brown. Accelerate Sim Racer in P2. We thought it was going to be Visma that was going to be the star of the team this season. We might have got it wrong, Mark. It might be Damien Cairns.
Yeah, Damien doing a great job out there, and I'm sure Greg Favell will be making notes on this and letting Visma know where he stands in the team now.
Oh, definitely big decisions to be made. As still all bunched up.
They're a good bunch of boys there, and they're good fun to race with and hang around, so they'll be having a good old laugh as well. But yeah, Visma, he has so many quick laps, but then just suffers that one mistake or one bit of bad luck, and always seems to affect him at the wrong time.
Cairns hanging tough here through NASCAR Bend with Retro White. Looks like Retro White's going to sneak his nose through. Stone Street has a bit of a think about following him, but backs out of it. They're heading back up the hill towards the clubhouse again.
I've got to say, Damien doing a fantastic job out there. He's looking very racy and certainly holding his own amongst these boys up the front.
A little bit wide there from Cairns. It's off in the grass, but doesn't affect him too much. Still holds his ground. A little bit loose from Kadich in the background. But he's doing very well. He's got himself in front of Stewie now. He's up 2 spots.
Yeah, that was a nice move up into the old willow tree there, and yeah, picked himself up, and I think he's up into 5th spot now. So great job there from Ashton.
Yeah, doing very well. And of course, for these boys tonight, big points available for the championship. Let's jump back on with Stewie. Stewie now tucked up behind Kadich. Might just jump on board here. Covers the inside line very well. Of course, this is one of these corners. Sets yourself up for the next section of the circuit. Got to get that power down. Look after those tyres. Just past the half race distance. Or just about at half race distance, sorry. Kadich looking a little bit loose. Very tough part of the circuit through there. You've got to be patient. Get the power down now. It's full noise. This is where it gets exciting coming up the hill here. You just got to send it over the curbs. Just lift a little. Set yourself up on the brakes into the southern bend. You can't see that exit curb. You got to get that right. Get the power down. Now into the double apex. You got to take it right out wide. Oh, he's loose. He's going to go side by side with Kadich.
Stone Street with a slowdown by the look of it. Almost. Oh, that was very close to being a disaster for all 3 of them.
Oh, wow. Talk about exciting racing.
I don't think Kadich realised what was going on there. The only thing I can think of was, yeah, Stone Street ended up with the slowdown, but yeah, that could have been 3 cars out all in one little bit of road there, but they all managed to scrape through.
Oh, Kadich is so loose. And of course, Seth Brown now about to take the lead from Retro White. 2 of those boys about to lose the lead, sorry. Retro White going to get himself through. Fastest lap of 1:46.9. So definitely some good racing. What we expected these Vermeulen boys to go 1-2 in this race. But definitely still go back a little bit. Damien Cairns hanging on to him just. Go back 2.5 seconds and we've got this epic but 4-way battle. Stewie getting himself away a little bit this time through.
Yeah, I think you mentioned last lap Kadich was looking a bit loose at the bottom of the circuit there, and quite possibly just overheated his tyres, and by the time he got up to the old willow tree there, Cairns is off at the old willow tree corner, but yeah, Kadich looked like he just maybe overcooked his tyres and they didn't recover in time, and he lost that drive coming out of the willow tree to lose the spot to Michael Stewart.
These boys definitely going hard, knowing that these tyres only got to last 15 laps, but we're still only halfway around this time.
The Vermeulen boys going side by side down the hill now.
They're not mucking around either. Seth Brown definitely having a crack here against his team leader. It's hard to say this. It's the youngster taking it to the more experienced driver, but when you talk to Zach, he's still a youngster himself. The old over and under here. Turn one, very difficult corner to get right. Of course, these two battling has opened the door up for Cairns to come back, and Cairns is bringing the rest of the group. It looks like Rattray White's going to get himself back in front of the line.
Good to see the Vermeulen boys out there having a heap of fun with this small field.
Yeah,
a bit of side-by-side action going between them.
Oh, he's got himself airborne there. He had to lift out of the throttle. Coming over through the southern bend into Oak Tree. These boys having a delightful battle here. Lap 8 of 15. So this sprint race definitely going to go very quick. Of course, no compulsory pit stops this evening. And definitely Seth Brown now under pressure from Damien Cairns. It is great to have a new name from Accelerate Sim Sports taking it to these Vermeulen lads. Of course, Damien, one of our Super 2 drivers. And of course, the Sim Sport boys, the Vermeulen lads are both Pro Series drivers. So definitely a great battle here. And Stone Street sets the fastest lap of the session with a 1:46.943 now. Cairns definitely in the thick of the battle here. You see the Browns getting a little bit sliding through here. Maybe he's overheated his tyres now. That side-by-side action as we come up towards the clubhouse. Over those curbs. Into the southern bend where you can't see the exit. And then, of course, up into Oak Tree. You see the first one. You got to get the car right out to the outside. You don't see that curve as you come up the hill there. And get yourself under power again to come out. This is where it matters, down to Madison Avenue. Full noise. And it looks like Cairns in the slipstream here. And then, of course, bottom of the dip here, hard on the brakes. Clip the outside curb, then to the inside curb. Same thing again, you don't really see it until you're on it. This little bit of the circuit is quite tricky. You got to balance the throttle now as you come through. Same thing again, hit the curb, get the wheels up, balance it, roll it onto the other side, load up the outside wheels, get the power down. You need a good exit out of here. Cairns just hanging on to these guys. And then, of course, now across the start-finish line into one of the hardest corners. The right-handed horseshoe, brake at about 400 board. Get your trail braking in nice and smooth. Now you got to get the power down without over-accelerating the wheel. Wheel spin here will throw you off sideways. Does a great job. Rolls it in now into NASCAR bend. You want to hit this curb on the inside, open up the outside. Nicely done by both of the Vermeulen guys in front. And then through another tight, tricky part of the circuit. You've really got to just balance the throttle through here. You can't get the power down until the car straightens up. Full noise, away we go again. Ride the curbs to get out. Down the back straightaway now. As we head into the complex, full noise, hit the curb, get the wheel off, hit the curb, get the wheel off, hit the curb, lift. Maybe tap the brake, get the nose in. Into the southern bend, hit that inside curb. As soon as you see that outside curb, full noise. Back on the brakes, look for the outside, gets close to it. Back to the inside apex, and away we go down Madison Avenue. And that is a lap of Virginia International Raceway with Damien Cairns.
Yeah, great call, John, and yeah, such a fun track to drive in these V8s around here. Car always feels like it's going sideways, and most of the time it is. And yeah, the boys are doing an epic job out there, and looking at the fastest laps between the top 4 or 5 drivers, only about not even a tenth between their fastest race laps, so there's absolutely nothing in it at the moment.
And of course, whilst doing that call, Michael Stewart sets a 1:46.99 or 9:44. So, Stewie's now gone and set the fastest lap. So it's not actually these guys out in front setting fastest laps, getting away from the field that we're used to seeing. These guys are all having an absolute battle. And Stone Street goes a smidgen quicker that time through. A lap 11 of 15 of the sprint race.
Like you said, John, so many blind corners and dips and whatnot around this track. It's sometimes you're just driving with braille, and you really just got to hope you've got the car in the right position so you can get it in the right position for the next corner, even though you can't see it.
Like this section here, you just got to attack it. Attack each corner. Love it. It's a great track to race. And get it through Oak Tree. And then, of course, that whole northern half of the circuit, there's a lot of patience involved.
Yeah, definitely one of them tracks where you're rewarded with your aggression, but you also pay a big price with your aggression. So many places where the car will just creep off the track before you know it.
Stone Street now starting to latch onto the back of Michael Stewart again. Michael Stewart on the back of Cairns on the back of those 2 Vermeulen cars. This is our top 5 cars now. We're all back nose to tail. Surprise packet tonight so far for me has been Damien Cairns. He's absolutely stepped up to the plate here against these Vermeulen guys. Stewie doing a great job hanging on behind. Don't underestimate Stone Street in these last couple of laps.
Yeah, we've got about 3.5 laps to go, John, so still anybody's race with how closely packed the field is in this top 5, so still a lot to play for, and only 3 and a bit laps to go.
Yeah, definitely won't take long to run through those. But it is Zach Rattray White at the moment looking good. Stone Street now starting to look to make some moves on Stewart. Stewart defending the inside line at Oak Tree. Can Stone Street get the power down quicker out, coming out? We're about to see as we head down Madison Avenue.
Michael Stewart looking a little bit defensive there, and Troy Stone Street looking to get on the attack, but I don't think the toe is quick enough down here. I'm sure Stewie's still picking up a bit of a toe from Cairns as well.
And the Vermeulen boys fighting their way into the roller coaster. Heading down into the hog pen. Cairns hanging onto the back of these guys. They've managed to get themselves out to nearly a second from Stewart now.
Yeah, Michael Stewart just having to defend a little bit from Troy Stone Street, and as soon as you go on that defensive line, you start to lose contact with the boys in front.
There's one lap 13 of 15. Rattray White, Seth Brown side by side coming out of the horseshoe into NASCAR Ben. And Rattray White manages to hang on again, but the problem is this bunches them all back up. So the top 5 cars again, nose to tail, with less than 2 laps to go. Sorry, just over 2 laps to go. So this is going to be quite an interesting battle, I think, to see how this one finishes off. Seth Brown trying to work out how to get past his teammate. And of course, golden rule of motorsport, you don't take out your teammate. So he's got to be calculated about what he does and make it clean and crisp. So he's poked and prodded the last couple of laps. Probably time to tuck it away, save it for lap 15 if he thinks he's found Retro White's weak spot. As they come up Madison Avenue again. And hard under brakes. All of them nose to tail. As heading into the start-finish line.
Now we've got 2 laps to go. Brown looking for a move down the inside. Cairns follows him.
Retro White goes wide. He's put a wheel on the grass. Let's open the door up, the 3 of them through. Stone Street hanging out sideways out the back there. Still too wide into NASCAR bend. Tell you what, he's doing well to try and hang on here. Is Retro White still side by side. It's going to get hung out here though, coming out of the final part of this complex. And heading up the hill now is Seth Brown as our new race leader.
Well, Zach just went a metre too deep into turn 1 there. He was given a bit of space to Seth Brown, but just ended up on the wrong side of the marbles and on the wrong edge of the track, and didn't do himself any favours, and now he finds himself in P2 with a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, definitely a battle here. He's gone for the inside line. Retro White tries to dive it in. Going to go side by side down Madison Avenue now. What do these boys behind do? Cairns tucks in behind. Stewie's still in there. Don't rule out a little bit further back. Stone Street, don't rule out him getting involved in this as we go through the roller coaster in a second.
Cairns with a massive toe there, but the Vermeulen boys were side by side, so it gave him no space to do anything with it, but he picked up a huge toe with them 2 cars in front of him.
And of course, side by side through the roller coaster down into the hog pen. And then Stewie pokes his nose in there on Cairns. So Michael Stewart goes into P3. That slows him down. Stone Street looking for a nudge on the inside. He's got 2 wheels on the grass.
That's 3 wide. This is going to be interesting.
Oh, close your eyes. Stone Street manages to hang on in there. Stewart gets shuffled back. Cairns now. He's trying to hang on. Of course, this has allowed Retro White and Seth Brown to get away a little bit. They're still side by side up in front as well. Don't know where to look here.
Retro White's got the race lead back.
Yeah, Cairns is back into 3rd. Stone Street in the 4th. He's gotten Stewart. These boys here putting on a classic battle.
It might be a small field, but it's been a very enjoyable race to watch, that's for sure.
Oh, and of course, don't forget, we've got the feature race coming up after this, which is 28 laps, full reverse grid. We'll get to see the Viz starting on pole at the moment, or as our lead driver. Barring 2 guys that didn't start this race turning up. As Retro White weaving his way down, trying to break the toe of his teammate Seth Brown. Brown shows his nose on the inside there. Is he going to see if he can get Retro White to make a mistake? No, he doesn't. Heading down through the roller coaster. Hit the curb right here. A little bit of a twitch in the car. Need a good exit through the hog pen. But it's going to be Retro White taking the feature race with a great drive. Very, very close. Just only 0.2 of a second to Seth Brown. Damien Cairns hangs on for 3rd. Stone Street will be 4th. Stewie will be 5th. Ashton Kadich comes home in 6th. Anthony Cusminson, he's going to finish in 7th. And Anthony Visma will roll into ninth, 8th position. That was an interesting little race, mate.
Yeah, absolutely, John. That was highly entertaining, and all the boys there put on a great show. Shame for Anthony Visma, but like you said, he's picked up himself a pole position for the start of this one. So hopefully he can change his luck and hang in there for a full race and get some good points under his belt.
Yeah, I think they'll be pretty chuffed with that one in terms of the points as well, getting maximum points. That if Rattray White can come through, that'll put a lot of favour for the championship. Of course, only round 2, but still a long way to go. But you get maximum points, you take it. We might go to a quick advert, and then we'll be back getting ourselves ready for this next race.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. Some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Damien Cairns went in split 1, but clearly he's enjoying his racing around here because he had a fantastic race in that last one, and really looking forward to see how it unfolds with a full reverse grid and whether Visma can get away at all from the boys chomping at the bit from the back. Yeah, definitely a track where you're stop starting, so you really need to feather that throttle nice and lightly. There's so many corners here where you just apply a fraction percentage too much throttle input and the car just steps sideways straight away. So yeah, tyre preservation around here is quite difficult, but I guess, you know, a bit longer race, I think, you know, I would probably look to maybe pit around lap 20 if I'm going to pit, but we're about to go racing again. We've got 30 seconds to go. So, yeah, if I was going to pit probably around lap 20, give myself a bit of time to get back to the front. And if you pick up a safety car, you'll be in the box seat. Yeah, definitely some interesting shenanigans in split 4 from a race control's perspective. Nothing deliberate or particularly nasty, but yeah, there was some interesting things happening on the last lap, and it's not over till it's over.
Okay, guys, some pretty good racing there in the first.
Green flag.
Yeah, not sure what happened to Ashton Kadich there, but he appears to have missed the start. Yeah, very. I've seen many a car into pit lane sideways after running wide on that last corner where it just spits you into the pit entry if you get too far onto the grass with them rear wheels. This is exactly what Visma would want. He'd want these people behind him battling, trying to allow him to extend his margin, but Stone Street doing a good job eyes forward while actually defending as well, so not giving up too much ground at the moment, but Brown certainly looking very racy. Interesting, Zach sitting back, a fair way back at the moment, or Brown runs a little bit wide. Yeah, Zach sitting back in 6th place at the moment, and a little bit off the back of Cairns, so Zach maybe just preserving his tyres, hoping to get through the whole race on one set and have something to fight with at the end. Yeah, everything's stabilised a little bit now. Currently on lap 3. Visma out in front, followed by Stone Street, and Seth Brown is your podium at the moment, but we've still got Michael Stewart, Damien Cairns and Zach Rattray White ready to pounce just behind these boys. And at the rear of the field at the moment is Anthony Cuthbertson out there doing a good job. Yeah. You saw Stone Street run a little wide up there at the Willow Tree that last lap before, and Seth thought he might be able to duck up the inside, but that hole closed pretty quickly. I don't think there was anything untoward in it. It was just a case of two cars fighting for the same bit of real estate. Definitely going to be interesting from a strategy point of view on who rolls the dice and who plays it conservative and just tries to maintain position. Yeah, Zach looking like he's just really pacing himself at the moment, not putting any real lateral load through the tyres, very, very light on the throttle on the exits, and yeah, just trying to make it square as possible everywhere he points the car. So I think he's just trying to conserve his... That's alright, yeah, I don't know how Seth hung on to that, but he certainly managed to. Good drive to survive here from Damien. Yeah, quite possibly, John. Back Rattray White got bored with tyre conservation and thought it's time to have some fun and go racing. Yeah, we've still got 22 and a half laps to go, so still a lot of work for these tyres to do if they're going to get through it on one stint. Yeah, Troy looking very racy there behind Visma, and yeah, really probably distracting Anthony in the mirrors there. So Troy doing a good job, but yeah, the two Vermeulen boys got past Michael Stewart there, and now set sail to try and catch these boys at the front. Yeah, he's managed to hang on. Biz still, he's got the fastest lap of the race at the moment with a 1:46.770. All the other boys are in the very low 1:47. So Biz out front and clean air clearly had an advantage, but I think Stone Street is chipped away, and that advantage is now pretty much zero. Stone Street with a great run out of the old Willow Tree corner, heading down Madison, and looking like he may get the job done. Visma has to just file back in behind, so great job there from Troy. Yeah, I can't remember the fuel burn around here, but 28 laps. I'm presuming we can get a full race done on one tank, but I don't know for sure. Because I thought I did hear Zach Rattray White just clutching a couple of times down Madison, so I was wondering whether he was light on fuel or whether the numbers were very tight, and it's quite possibly that they realise the numbers are tight and you may just need a couple of areas where you get a bit of clutching in and save half a litre of fuel just to make sure you get to the end. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, absolutely. I haven't heard anybody really clutching and trying to save fuel, so I'm assuming that they're either all committed to one stop or they're all feeling like they've got enough fuel to get home from here. Yeah, we've got 18 and a half to go, and yeah, we're not halfway, but I'm sure for these boys they'll be thinking, I had a lot of grip at the start of the race and it's gone. No, you're really relying on the guy in front of you making a slight exit on it, a slight error on exit on one of the big straights, so you can pick up that draft and get past them. Yeah, it's not a wide circuit, it's very long, it's not very wide, but boy, it is great fun to drive. Troy Stone Street looking very, very good out front at the moment. I hope I don't put the mockers on him, but certainly looking like he's enjoying his racing tonight, and a great racing, the sprint race earlier, and apparently edging out in front of Visma, so not a huge gap between any of these boys, but yeah, Troy looking very good. Looks like Seth Brown may have picked up a slowdown and he's allowed Rattray White. Black still hasn't cleared that flag, so he may have to get right off the throttle here on the exit. The flag is now cleared for Seth Brown, but that little touch between Cairns and Stewart has allowed Brown to keep maybe a 6 to 8 car length gap there, so Seth got a little bit lucky there. Rattray White has got a sniff, and he's thrown tyre conservation way out the window from a few laps ago, and is now just looking to hunt down these boys in front. Yeah, currently track's sitting at 34 degrees C, so not too hot, but definitely not cool. So in the mid-range in terms of track temperature for iRacing. So still should be plenty of grip out there, but what have we done? We've done we're on lap 12, so edging towards halfway. What happened to Seth Brown? Did he pit? Did he make a mistake? He's disappeared. Oh, there he is. I just couldn't see him on my screen. That gap between Rattray White and Brown has certainly opened up a fair bit here, and Seth will want to try and close that down as quickly as possible so it doesn't open up any further. He really needs to pick up a bit of a toe from Rattray White in front. As soon as he loses that toe down that big long straight, then these three boys at the front may just continue to drive away. I think, yeah, I'm just about to say, it looks like Stone Street has entered the pit, so yeah, very interesting there. Going to be interesting to see whether any of the boys feel like they need to cover, or whether they feel like they can get home. Absolutely a long way to go. Yeah, Seth Brown done a great job there. He was about 3 seconds behind his teammate a couple of laps ago, and he's brought that down to under a second. So that's some great driving there from Seth. Definitely not the time to be desperate for Visma here. He just needs to sit tight and hang tough and just allow Rattray White to do all the work in front, and Anthony just needs to follow, and if he gets an opportunity with a few laps to go, maybe pounce, but he's certainly looking racy. Oh no! Yeah, it's a real shame for the race, because that front group was looking very, very exciting to watch. But as you say, Rubbins Racing, there wasn't a lot in it. It was just the angle that they touched and the speed they were carrying that sent them both spearing off the track, which is really unfortunate for Zach. But I'll let race control deal with any penalties that they might adjudicate. I'm not sure, didn't get a real good look at it, but yeah, it's a real shame for the race, and hopefully Zach can get back on terms and get back on the back of the train here. We've still got 12 laps to go, so we're only just past halfway, so still a fair bit to go here. Yeah, I don't think we're done yet, John. Michael Stewart just went a bit deep in turn one. I thought Seth might have been able to nail it, but Michael Stewart did enough and put his car in the right position to just be able to defend and hold on to that lead. But not sure how long that lead's going to last, the way Seth Brown is following him up the hill here. I think just looking at Zach Rattray wide, he's about 3.5 seconds behind now, so he's out of the tow. He's really going to have to rely on his skills to pick up this lap time, and what he'll want to see is them three boys battling as hard as they possibly can up front to allow him to try and make up a little bit of ground. I think he'd be really hoping his teammate Seth Brown can fill the mirrors of Michael Stewart in front, distract him a bit, make him defend, slow the pace a little bit, and just allow Zach to get back on terms. I'd certainly like to know what's going on in Troy Stonestreet's head at the moment. I'm sure he'd be thinking, come on boys, pit. I pitted. Make it fair. We're down to 8.5 laps to go. Looking like, I'm not sure if Rattray White made any mistakes on that lap, but that gap was closing, not significantly, but he did close it a bit, but now it's blown out again. So, yeah, not sure what happened on that last lap for Zach. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Seth Brown doing a good job there to pick up the race lead. We've had quite a few changes in the lead in both the sprint race and the feature race, so that's been a great thing for the racing tonight. But we've still got, 7 laps to go. And yeah, fuel, I'm sure, would be starting to look like, am I going to make it? Do I need to fuel save? Rattray White is starting to close that gap on Cairns, so certainly not done by any stretch of the imagination at the moment. Rattray White's got it down to about 2.5 seconds, I believe, from the lead, and he's all over the back of Cairns at the moment. Well, this is all to do. Yeah, I think this is all tyre related for Cairns. And for Rattray White, ran a little bit wide there. Lost about half a second on just that one corner to the lead. Doesn't have the toe anymore from Damien Cairns in front of him. Yeah, without a doubt they'd be very depleted on them rear tyres, but this is exactly what Rattray White wants, is these two up front getting side by side, door-to-door battles while they make their lap times blow out and allow him to get right on the back of them, so he's not too far off the back now. Big lock up from Rattray White there has allowed Brown back through. So 4 laps to go. Michael Stewart's got about a 2.5 second lead, 2.3 second lead at the moment. So yeah, the Vermeulen boys, they don't want to be battling too much side by side and allowing Stewart just to creep away. Yeah, we'll be down to 3 laps to go once they cross the stripe this time round, John. And at this stage, certainly Michael Stewart doing enough to hold off the Vermeulen boys. That lead has been sitting around 2.5 to 2.7 seconds that last lap and a half. So it hasn't come down at all. So Michael Stewart doing a great job out front. Yeah, 2.5 laps to go. Yeah, I don't think anybody would begrudge Michael Stewart a race win here tonight. As you said, stalwart of the Vets series, always helping drivers out in the lower splits with his coaching classes. So I'm sure a lot of the Vets boys will be cheering on here. Two to go now. That gap has remained fairly static between Michael Stewart and Rattray White. So Michael Stewart doing an absolutely sensational job out front at the moment. Clearly fuel was not enough for Damien Cairns to get home. Makes you wonder how the other boys are going to manage, whether he was that tight on fuel or whether he didn't quite have a full tank to start with. lead has dropped by about a second on that lap, so I'm not sure if Michael Stewart is in fuel conservation mode. I did say earlier I heard Rattray White clutching a few times going down Madison here early on at the beginning of the race, so maybe that work at the beginning could pay dividends at the end for Rattray White, because that lead is coming down significantly on this lap. Yeah, great to see Michael Stewart grab a win there. We know it's a small field, but a win's a win, and he had to work hard for it. Unfortunately, Rattray White and Visma in that incident put them both on the back foot, and Zach did an incredible job to get back to second and get back to as close to the lead as he did. But yeah, hats off to Michael Stewart and Seth Brown as well. He battled away all night, entertained us with some good racing. And yeah, it was, even though it was a small field, it was lots of fun racing tonight, so thoroughly enjoyable.
Yoo-hoo! How good was that? What a lot of fun that was. Oh, man, I had to work for it. Uh, uh, well, that I don't know if you noticed, but I pretty had slow pace for the first half of the race. I was really mindful that I needed tyres at the end, so I held on to them, and it seemed that at the end I had a bit of tyre left, whereas a few others were sort of dancing in front of me. So I think that was the right strategy. And I fuel saved in the first 10 laps to make sure that I had enough to get to the end anyway.
Oh, I didn't even feel safe once, and I was fine. So I don't know. I was in the tow a lot, so I think that could have helped. Yeah, I don't know. Probably ran out of talent somewhere.
Well, it was a very entertaining race from our perspective. You boys really turned it on tonight, and it was unfortunate for Zach to get tangled up with Visma there, but he did a great job to battle back to get to second. But yeah, I want to say a big congrats to Michael. Thoroughly deserved, and really happy to see you get your first win in East Coast, mate. Well done.
Yeah, well, you've got to have a little bit of luck every now and then, hey. So yeah, unfortunately for Zach, the luck was my way. So yeah, but I was watching him in my relative catching me, and I was going one mistake, and he's got me. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that they were side by side for a bit, and I was like, okay, yeah, just keep going, guys, keep going. Let me try and get away. But yeah, being a first win was always nervous to try and get to the end.
It was more tyre saving, I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah, I did notice you're sitting in sixth place. You weren't really trying to race anybody. You just looked like you were conserving fuel and tyres in the early part of the race. And then once the opportunity to get past one car came, it looked like the race driver came out in you, and you thought, I'll go for all of them now.
Yeah, I got past most of them until, yeah, we know what. Just Seth. He did really good job being rear gunner. Really good job.
Yeah, obviously the Balin Stewart Foundation. We've got our Balin Forever Festival on at Night Quarter on the Sunshine Coast. And sorry, it's actually called the Station now, not Night Quarter. It used to be the Night Quarter. But yeah, 5 bands headlined by the Pop Delis. $58 for 5 bands. Starts at 5, and it'll be a great party. So I'd love anybody in Brizzy or on the sunny coast to come along, and I'll shout. If you're from East Coast or the Vets, I'll shout you a beer. Yeah, well, it's very similar course to this, isn't it? It's a tight, narrow, bumpy little course. So yeah, you got to be mindful the whole race. So.
Nah, I was just about to say I hate the place, so yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
I'm with you, Zach.
Usually how it goes.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car. or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. Some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name.